Today is our second class of Ilmul Sarf. I'd like to summarize Ilmul Sarf, the first class of Ilmul Sarf that we took before, just in a couple of minutes. Every subject has a topic, and the topic of Ilm Sarf is kalima, which basically means word. And in Arabic dictionary, it means injury. If you look in the dictionary, the literal meaning of the word kalima is injury. And why? Because every word that comes out of your mouth has an impact on who you're addressing that word to. If you speak to somebody and you speak in good terms, you're in good terms with that person, you say something nice, then that other person who's listening to your words, he's going to feel nice, he's going to feel good. Therefore, every word has an impact, and therefore, perhaps because of that, the literal meaning of the word kalima in Arabic means, if you look in the dictionary, it means injury. Ilm Sarf gives you the power to understand the precise meanings of a word, all of the Arabic words, and also enables you to create new words from other given word. And the way to do it is by changing the very structure of the word and thus creating a new word from that word. And then from that word perhaps to another word, so on and so forth. But this is done through a systematic way by following the principles of Ilm Sarf. For example, I had mentioned kalima is divided into three segments. That is ism, fi'l, and harf. And our topic in Ilm Sarf is only confined to ism and fi'l, because these two are the words that can be divided, changed into other forms of other words, structures can be changed, but harf cannot be changed. So therefore, the ability to change and both have a root word, ism and fi'l, they all have a root word, which is also ism and fi'l. And that root word is called masdar. Meen, swad, dal, ra, masdar, the root word. And since harf does not have a root word in itself, that word sticks to the same position as it was, and it always will be the same. Therefore, we're not going to discuss harf at all. So in Ilm Sarf, all of the words that we're going to discuss is purely and merely from ism and fi'l. I had also told you briefly what ism and fi'l is. For example, Allama, ya'lamu, i'lam. These are, for example, the words from fi'l. And from ism, you can use the words like rajul, or any name of a person or of a place. And now, if you have, for example, the words that are used from fi'l, alama, ya'lamu, i'lam. These are the similar words. And if you find a root word in this, would be ilm. If you can see on the screenshot, there you go. Thank you for doing that. Allama, ya'lamu, i'lam. Now, The masdar of these three words is ilm. The root word or masdar is ilm. That's the example from fi'l. And now from ism, as you can see, the words written there, rajul, rajulan, rijal, and rujail. Now, rajul means one man, one person, one man. Rajulan in Arabic, unlike all other languages, you have a singular in all languages and then a plural. But then in Arabic, there's a word used for two persons as well, which is called tasniya. Rajul is singular, that's is. Rajulan is two men. Rijal is three men or more. Rujail means a small or a tiny person, a tiny man, a small man. So as you can see, the root word of all of these words, the three words that you see before rajul, is rajul. That's the root word, and the root word in Arabic is called masdar. Now, you move on to huruf asli and huruf zaid. What is huruf asli? Huruf asli means the original letters that exist in any word that might contain extra letters as well. For example, like I had mentioned before, and it's written right there before rajul, you can see Allama, ya'lamu, i'lam. The root word in these three words was ilm. Therefore, if you look at ya'lamu, the second word, you know that the three letters that were original, the original three letters that originated from the real, from the source, from the root word, from the masdar, was ilm, and ilm contained three letters, ain, lam, and mim. Therefore, huruf asli in all of these words, alama, ya'lamu, i'lam, the three huruf asli or the original letters are ain, lam, and mim. It's very simple. And if you move on to the other example, the four words that you see, rajul, rajulan, rijal, rujail. Now the four words that you see, the original three letters were ra, jim, and lam. Therefore, if you move on to the other word, rajulan, you see the letters that exist in this word are alif and noon. The real and the original letters that existed were rajul, ra, jim, and lam. So in the next word, when you move, you see the word rajulan, and you find two letters extra, alif and noon. These two letters are called huruf zaid, and ra, jim, and lam are huruf asli, the original letters. We move on to the other word, rijal. Now, as you can see, that there is only one single extra letter, and that extra letter is from huruf zaid. That's harf zaid. Rajul, ra, jim, lam is the huruf asli. And alif that you see there is from huruf zaid. You move on to the other word, rujail. Ya, there you see in the last word, the third letter that you see after ra and jim is ya. Now this ya is an extra letter which is not from the original letters. Therefore, ya is from huruf zaid and ra, jim, lam is from huruf asli. So these are the two categories from ism and fa'al that we need to understand, because that's our topic. We're not discussing harf at the moment. Harf is not the topic in sarf. Only ism and fa'al is the topic. And every ism and fa'al have huruf asli and huruf zaid. Now this was an example from ism. When we move on to fa'al, the next example is from fa'al. Nasr. Nasr is the masdar or the root word. From that root word, Nasr, where Sad is sakin or silent. Not silent in the way you're going to pronounce it, but there is no mark on top of it. Therefore, it's Nasr. Now, the first word that you see is from the past tense of a fa'al. Fa'al means verb. Now, these tenses are from the past tense, which we are going to speak later on. But at the moment, what we are discussing, I'd like you to concentrate only on that. Huruf asli and huruf zaid. From fa'al. Nasara, yansuru, unsur. Nasara, he helped. Noon, Swad, Ra. Now, as I said, the masdar or the real word was Nasr, and this is Nasara. All of the three letters are huruf asli. When we move on to the other word, Yansuru, we find that Ya, Noon, Sad, Ra. These are the four letters. And out of these four letters, Ya, you see, is extra. Therefore, Ya is from huruf, not from huruf asli, but huruf zaid, from huruf zaid. That's an extra letter. And it is there for a meaning which you will come to understand as the time goes by. In your other next lessons, you will understand why these extra letters exist. They exist for a reason, and that reason is going to come later on. Ansur, or unsur. Unsur, you see that the alif, the first letter alif, is the extra letter. Noon, Sad, Ra are the same. Therefore, alif is huruf zaid, Noon, Sad, Ra is huruf asli. Move on to alim, ilm. As you can see, a few letters there. Ilm is the root word, masdar, ilm. And like nasara, you find the first word to be Allama. He learned, past tense. Ya'lamu, i'lam. And then alim, muallim, muta'allim. Right? Now, all of these words that you see, right, are called kalamate mutanajis. Kalamate mutanajis. The words from a same single family. As you can see on your screen, alama, ya'lamu, ilam, alim, muallim, muta'allim. The root word is ilm. Ilm is the root word. And like I've explained before, it is pretty easy to find out how you can find which letters are huruf asli and huruf zaid. Ilm, as I had said, is the masdar. Therefore, in a'lam, a'lam or i'lam is alif is zaid. And in muta'allim, mim, te is zaid. Now, if I had not told you, now I need to make you concentrate on what I'm saying. If I had not told you that the root word or masdar of these words that you see on the board, ilm, i'lam, alim, muallim, muta'allim, right? Now, if I hadn't told you that ilm is masdar, the root word, how would you know what is the root word? How would you know? So there are ways of distinguishing between huruf zaid and huruf asli. And I'm going to mention just one of them at the moment. But later on, we will find out other ways as well to find out the huruf asli and huruf zaid. The reason why we need to distinguish between huruf asli and huruf zaid is that we need to distinguish these letters. The only reason is we want to find out the root word of all of these words that come from a single family. It's called kalamate mutanajis. So one of the ways is that you take all of the kalamate mutanajis, or all of these words that come from a single family, which means the words that belong to same family, take them, right, collect them, and you put all of these words together and pick all of the common letters that are repeated in all of the similar words belonging to a same family. That's very simple. Those letters which are repeated in every single word that you see over there, right on top of the screen, when you see Allama, i'lam, alim, muallim, muta'allim, Allama, ya'lamu. Now all of these words that you see, you find when you put all of these words together, you'll find that there are only 3 letters that are common in all of these words. And the rest of the words, the rest of the letters that you see are extra letters. Those letters are called huruf asli, ones that you can distinguish and you can put aside. Now, one letter might repeat itself in a word once or twice or thrice or again and again. It's not necessary that 2 words will be repeated, or 3 letters or 2 letters will be repeated in a word. No, that's not a principle. Now, if I can put my words again and make you understand what I'm saying, and if you put all of these words that belong to a same family and put all of these words together and pick all of the common letters from these words, from these similar words belonging to the same family, those common letters are called huruf asli. So that's one way. If I hadn't told you, if I give you a number of words of a single family, now you will be able to find out the huruf asli. And once you find out the huruf asli, that will be the masdar. That will be the root word of all of those words. MashaAllah. So that's rule number 1 that all of you, alhamdulillah, have successfully learned. So these are that's one of the ways of learning and differentiating between huruf asli and huruf zaid. And as I said, there are other ways as well, but that's going to come later on. Now, as we move on, I'd like to tell you that there is a further categorization of fi'l and ism. And there are 6 categories of ism and 6 categories of fi'l. But as I said, harf is not our topic in ilm al-sarf. What are these 6 categories? Number 1, a 3-letter word is called thulathi mujarrad. As you can see on the left side of the board. No, not this side. Yeah, there you go. Thulathi mujarrad. That is the number 1 category of ism and fi'l. Divide these words, all of the words of ism and fi'l belong to these 6 categories. Number 1, sulasi mujarrad. Like, for example, kataba, he wrote. Daraba, he hit. Now, as you can see, thulathi means 3. Thulathi mujarrad, 3 letters. You can see in kataba there are 3 letters. Sorry? Yes. In thulathi mujarrad there are 3 letters. Therefore, it's called thulathi. Thulathi is 3 in Arabic, right? So 3 letters of kataba and daraba. Now, I'd like to give you a tip. Most of the letters, most of the words are, basically most of the ism and fi'l come from the root word, and those root words, majority of them are thulathi mujarrad, which means 3 letters. And the example is kataba and daraba. Or for ism, if you like to have an example, is rajul. The one that you can see on the board on the top hand side, on the right side. Rajul. 3 words, rajul. And now the second category. Thulathi mujarrad mazidun fi. Thulathi mujarrad mazidun fi. As the name, if you read and if you understand a little bit of Arabic, you can understand, even if you can speak Urdu or Persian, or if you know a little bit of Arabic vocabulary, mazid is extra. So thulathi mujarrad and then mazidun fi. That means that the 3 letters that exist in the word are from thulathi mujarrad, but then there is mazidun fi, extra letters as well. Fi means in it. Fi hai, in it. Mazidun fi, extra in it. In what? In thulathi mujarrad. So you go and you understand, once you go back from fi, that heb goes back to thulathi mujarrad. So the extra letters, if there are extra letters in the 3-letter word, that word is called thulathi mujarrad mazidun fi. For example, i'lam and rijal. As you can see, that the extra letters that exist there is alif in i'lam, and in rijal also there is 1 letter that exists, is extra, and that's also alif. Therefore, that's the example of thulathi mujarrad mazidun fi. Now we move on to the next category. The third one is called Rubai Mujarrad. Rubai Mujarrad means Rubai. Rubai from in Arabic means four. Rubai Mujarrad, the four-letter word. So the original four-letter root word is called Rubai Mujarrad. The root word that consists four letters is called Rubai Mujarrad, just like the previous Thulathi Mujarrad. As you can see, the two examples is Ja'far, like the name Ja'far. As you can see, there are four letters: Jim, Ain, Fa, and Ra. All of these letters put together makes it Ja'far, which is a four-letter word and also a root word. And similarly, you find there's another word, Dahraj. Now this Dahraj also consists of four letters, and these four letters are from a root word which consists of four letters. Therefore, it's called Rubai Mujarrad. And then we move on to the next category, which is Rubai Mujarrad Mazidun Fi. Rubai Mujarrad Mazidun Fi. That's the fourth category. As you can see, Rubai Mujarrad means the four-letter word, but then with an extension of a few letters, which means Mazidun Fi. Mazidun Fi. So Rubai Mujarrad Mazidun Fi. If I give you an example, the example is Tadahraja or Ju'afir. Now, Tadahraja, as you can see, Dahraja, or the root, for the three real actual, the four letters, and Tadahraja, see, and Ju'afir, yes, Ju'afir, these are the two examples of Rubai Mazidun Fi. We move on to the fifth category, Khumasi Mujarrad. Now, once we are moving to the fifth category, as you can see, there is only one word that I've brought as an example, which is Safarjal. Khumasi Mujarrad, fifth one. There you go. Now, if you move on to the fifth category, yes, Khumasi Mujarrad. Yes, you can see the word Safarjal. And why is there no ism there? Sorry, no fail. Safarjal itself is not fail. Khumasi Mazidun Fi. Khumasi Mazidun Fi. The word that consists of 5 original letters, but also consists of extra letters in it as well. Therefore, it's called Khumasi Mujarrad Fi. And the example is Andaris. Now, there's one thing that I'd like you to take the note is that all of the first 4 categories exist only in fi'l and ism as well, right? Rubai Mujarrad, no, sorry, we start from Thulathi Mujarrad, Thulathi mujarrad, rubai mujarrad, and also mazidun fi if you add on to it. These four categories mentioned before khumasi, you can find the words of ism and fail both with these categories. But once you come to khumasi, 5-letter words, no word from fi'l can you find. You cannot find a word that is also fi'l and consists of 5 letters. That's not possible. Therefore, only ism has 5 letters. 5-letter word, if you see an huruf asli or khumasi mujarrad or khumasi mujarrad fi, if you find 5-letter word, you should know that it can never be a fi'l. It is only ism. Why? Because you do not have a word that is a 5-letter word and a fi'l. So I'd like you to note that down, please. Now, in the end, we've come towards the end of the session. Sometimes, very few times, we find that there are 2-letter words as well that exist. For example, ab. Ab. Now, this ab was originally abawa, but that waw was depleted. That waw was taken off from that word and it became ab. Therefore, ab was originally thalathi mujarrad. So since it was thalathi mujarrad, therefore the waw existed before, but that waw has been taken off from that word and it has become a 2-letter word. But this 2-letter word is actually a 3-letter word. Therefore, this is a thalathi mujarrad. But then, in very few instances, there is a thunai mujarrad as well. Like for example, huwa, pinpointing towards somebody. Him, huwa. Yeah, that is a 2-letter word. But these words, the 2-letter words, are very rare in Arabic. Therefore, these few words would not be discussed in this field. Now, we've come to the end of this session. I think it's enough for today to digest. And I'd like to ask you if there are any questions that you might not have understood. Please feel free to ask me. If there's anything
you guys have,
you have not understood,
so please feel free to raise your hand or unmute your microphone to ask the question. Thank you. So if I start with one question, Aghajan, what about those words which are either, the mujarrad of Salasi or Rubai or Khamsa? Are there any such words which have like dual meanings instead of their masdar being one?
Well, all words have different meanings. Masdar, the root word, has a different meaning. For example, ilm means knowledge. I'lam is like somebody telling you to learn. I'lam. Ya'lamu will learn. He will learn, or he is learning. Present tense and future tense. Allama, he has learned. That's past tense. Every word that you see has a meaning and a different meaning. But then again, different meanings does not mean that you cannot reach to you cannot understand the meanings of it if you just bit by bit, if you understand the scientific system of Arabic language, you will come to understand ilm sarf, and you will come to understand the meanings of all of those words. But that's going to come later on, bit by bit, inshallah. Once you see the word, once you come up with a word, you will understand the context of the meaning of that word. It's going to be very simple for you later on, inshallah. Yes. Is there anybody else who wants to ask a question, please? No? I don't think there's anybody who wants to ask a question. Right. So now, let me tell you that this was the second session, as everybody knows. And inshallah, we're going to have the next session on Saturday, and we'll take on from there, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Jafri, is that it? You want to add on something?
With the call. So thank you very much, all of you who have participated in today's session. Please do promote these lectures to your referral networks. I believe it's an excellent initiative from Agha Jahan, and this is a very, very important course program for all those who are interested and seriously interested to learn about Al-Quran's Sarf subject. So with that note, we would like to end and conclude. So you all have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you have dialed in from. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. I'm going to end, so you will be dismissed out. Thank you.